My name is Jack Nykaza. I have Ryan Mandley here from American Financial Network. Ryan, how are you doing today?
Doing well, Jack. What about yourself?
I'm doing good. It's fun doing a podcast here.
I know. It's a little cooler in here. It's, I think, 110 outside, so this AC feels quite nice.
Yeah, because we're in Phoenix, Arizona right now in the middle of July.
The last few crazy ones, most people are sitting by the beach right now, but we're fighting it here.
Yeah, you got to fight through it. So you've been doing mortgages for a while. You've been off and on. You've been in the real estate business for 20 years.
Close, yeah, 19 years, long time.
Yeah.
It's hard to imagine and still be in one piece, but I'm here.
Yeah. But you went to school down in Tucson at the University of Arizona. How was that?
It was cool. Tucson's a really pretty town. You know, the school there is fun. They had a good basketball program at the time. I'm not really going to talk about it right now, but hopefully it comes back this next year and following years. But it's a fun environment. It's one of the few, cities that the whole school kind of revolves around, or the whole city kind of revolves around the school,
Mm-hmm.
So it makes it fun. Summertime's a ghost town there, so you definitely got to get out because everyone's gone. But it was cool. It was a good experience.
For sure, yeah. I went there too, so
Had to throw that bear down, right?
Yeah. All right, so good. But the mortgage business is our primary focus today, and you've been doing it for a while. But you're kind of an interesting loan officer because mortgage advisor, loan officer, call it what you want, but you don't focus too much on the details of the loan. You have a lot of people that work for you that do. You kind of are more of the people side of it. And tell me about how that works for you.
Yeah, I mean, you're only as good as, the strength of your teams, So I felt like I've assembled a team where we all play off our strengths, Some people are better at working numbers. Some people are better at calculating income. Some people like to be talking to everybody on the phone. Sometimes like to be out, meeting with people and kicking up business. So that's kind of how we've set it up. And I've always, enjoyed interfacing with people, creating new relationships, being out, kissing babies, shaking hands, and doing that sort of thing, which a lot of people don't like to do, and they're scared to do. So I've kind of set up my team accordingly, where I'm kind of out and about, meeting with everybody, managing relationships, doing a lot of the marketing, promoting, and then I have the team behind me that steps in and helps with the day-to-day loan operation stuff.
Oh, that's great. So what do you specifically like to do the most? Not necessarily what's most effective, but what do you like to do the most in the business in terms of generating income?
I've always been really good at making the phone ring, making people interested in doing business with us. And I think a lot of it has to do with just being genuine and honest and doing what you say and saying what you do, And, I always kind of say, hey, if this doesn't make sense for, my friend or family to do, I'll definitely tell you that, And I think there's a lot of people in this business that come into it with the ambition that they're going to make a lot of money and they'll do whatever it takes, even if it's not right by the client or the customer. And I think people sniff that out really quickly, and a lot of people come and go. So if you take care of people and you're honest with them and, you do or offer advice in their best interest, I think they appreciate that and, refer a lot of their friends and family because they know you're not going to take advantage of them and you're going to shoot them straight.
Right. And does that bring you back to where there's kind of a clear difference between a mortgage advisor who's more personal and makes a little bit more money for themselves than a call center? And what I'm trying to get at is that there's this stigma out there that every loan officer is, a Quicken Loans guy or a guy doing a ton of volume, and you can't get a hold of them. You get a different person every time, your file gets lost, and you call an 800 number to get, service. In your perspective, it sounds like you handle all of it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's a big difference between, a loan officer or a mortgage consultant, or we're a lot more than that. We really want to have, the right connections for anything, mortgage or real estate, for whatever we can do to help our clients, So whenever we're speaking with them, whether if it's a, purchase or refinance, we are looking at their whole overall picture, where are your assets at? What are you trying to accomplish? How long do you want to be in this house or location? How much debt are you carrying? What kind of interest are you paying on those type of debts? How much are you paying for mortgage insurance? How much are you paying for homeowners insurance? Are you happy with the relationships that you have with the contacts there? So we really create a broad reach in all the different avenues of real estate. What realtor are you working with? Are you happy with them? We work with some of the best in the state, in the states that we work in. So It's more of a relationship and us sharing our experiences and relationships that we can, do a lot more for that person than just help them with their mortgage. A lot of times we save them a lot just on, home insurance or mortgage insurance or whatever the case may be, or they may not have a financial advisor or, a financial plan for the future. They're just kind of like, making it happen on their own. You can introduce them to someone good and, that can change their whole life, so it's just really understanding where they're at. Everybody's in, we work with all different walks of life, from the first time home buyer to the seasoned, real estate investor. So everyone has different goals and plans. So it's, understanding what they're trying to accomplish and really advise them and make them think of things that they may not have thought of before. Mm-hmm. And, when the Quicken guy or whatever call center LO that's making, $12 to $15 an hour calls them with an eighth of a rate better or $100 less in fees, they're not really interested because we're doing so much more for our customer. Mm-hmm. And then we do a lot to retain them and keep them for clients for life. So that's really our goal. Everyone that we speak to, you may be ready for our services now. We may be to help you in one other aspect of your life or real estate business, but we hope that you'll always come back to us whenever you're ready to purchase or refinance.
Right. So it sounds like you're selling service. You're selling yourself as a professional, financially informing people what's going on. And that really sets you apart from the rate, because you mentioned like an eighth of a rate, you might be able to get it better at one of those call centers or whatever you want to call them. But for you, you're delivering on a lot on the service side.
For sure. I mean, this business, you got to pretty much be 24/7. Somebody that's working in a call center banking hours, you're not going to be able to get a hold of them. Most people, when they're trying to work, look at buying a home, they're seeing properties after hours or holidays or weekends when, the average person isn't working or at their desk or answering their phone. And this is the time that's very important because they want to know, like, hey, can I afford that extra $50,000 in house? I really found one that I'm in love with. Can you update my pre-qualification for me and get that over to me, Or, hey, I really found this house. I'm in love with it. We're going to be super upset if we don't get it. What can you do to help us? And since we have a strong, local presence and relationship with a lot of the agents that we work in, we'll call in on behalf of the buyer and talk to the listing agent and just be like, hey, look, I know you have 5 other offers. This buyer is super qualified. We can close very quickly, same as cash if you need. We do a lot of business, have a great reputation. I'd highly recommend you take this offer over the other ones on the table. Mm-hmm. And I'd say, honestly, probably 9 out of 10 times we're able to get that, borrower, their home accepted and under contract when, the call center guy's not going to have the relationship. Many times the agent's going to shoo away from those type of pre-qualification letters,
Right. So you're fighting for your clients, really.
Absolutely. We'll do whatever we can to help our client accomplish, the goals that they're set out to do.
Uh-huh. And so, a typical borrower, let's say it's a fairly straight up loan, and they're talking to you. Are they ever talking to anybody on your team, or is your team doing research for you?
Yeah, so basically how it works is I've tried, a bunch of different structures as far as teams goes, and there's a lot of different ones out there. I'm always kind of the face and the name that they know and they're referring to. Sometimes I'll talk to the customers, and sometimes I'll make an introduction to my other teammates. Sometimes, depending on who's available, we'll have one of my teammates call them directly. So it's really about customer service and who can get to them first, right? I don't want any of my clients ever having to wait. If they need a pre-qualification from us, I want first who is available. And the loan officer that's available first to contact on the team, I want them to be that contact and that relationship through the borrower, through the entire process, so they know who they're speaking to. A lot of the teams that pass it down the line, people get confused, like, wait a second, I was just talking to Ryan, now I'm talking to, Jack, now I'm talking to Josh, and I don't really know who I need to go to if there's any questions. So we want to have one point of contact with our loan officers, and then they always know that they can contact me if there's ever any issues or if they have any questions or if they ever need any help of anything.
So how many people are on your team?
We have 3 people on our team on top of me, not counting, our operations staff. Without our amazing operations staff, we would be nothing. So
so they're external. So are the 3 people loan officers?
Yeah, they're loan officers on our team. And we work with a lot of other real estate teams, and it's basically like we have leads coming in through certain emails and phone numbers and things where we all get the lead at the same time. Yeah. And whoever's first available actually like sitting in a seat or can make a phone call and take an application is able to respond and say, hey, I got this one, and go ahead and reach out to that client.
Okay. How do those leads come through to you? I mean, there's got to be a couple sources, but...
All over the place. I mean, I have so much content and marketing all over the place. I mean, they come in through, phone calls, emails, text messages, DMs on, Instagram, Facebook, it just comes in kind of all over the place.
Yeah, that brings up your Instagram page. I mean, you got like what, 14,000 followers?
Like 13, working on 14.
13
so,
and a half.
Yeah,
all right.
yeah.
That's got to be a lot of eyes on your business through the social media.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely helps, and you get a lot of people reaching out to you that you would never think would be interested just by trying to add value and put out good content and, information. So I always try to share anything that I think would be valuable or could help someone, and then, put out as much quality content as I can.
Mm-hmm. So Instagram, we know that, but what about Facebook? Do you use Facebook?
Yeah, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, Google Business is actually a really good one. It's been really solid for us, and I think I was one of the first adapters to figure that out. A lot of people are starting to figure that out right now, that everyone should have a Google Business page. Obviously, if you're trying to rank well in Google and you're playing on their platforms and your customers and clients are reviewing you on that platform, that's obviously good. So I think a lot of times we're coming up organically when people are looking to purchase or refinance and stumbling across our reviews, and they'll stumble across some YouTube videos or whatever the case may be. So, I mean, I really try to hammer on all of the platforms. I figure if I'm going to go through the time and thought process to create the content, I might as well share it on every platform I have access to, which, is always a learning process, and things are always changing.
Yeah. So Google Business, I actually haven't heard that one yet.
Yeah. It's pretty cool. Basically, you have to have a business location, a physical location, and then you have to get it validated. So once you register, they'll send you out a mail piece, basically in the mail, with a PIN code, and then they know you're legit and actually have a physical location. And then they'll go ahead and sign you up as an official Google business, and you can start posting on that video content, pictures of your business, and start collecting reviews from your customers. So that's been one of our better review platforms, and people are finding us on there even though we haven't really asked them too much to review us on there.
Right. How does that compare to Yelp?
I think Yelp's another good platform too, but Yelp's a little more strict as far as the reviews that they let through, so it can be definitely frustrating. So you have people that are reviewing you and they're holding their reviews back for some odd reason, even if they're...
And they always change the algorithm, and then
it
cuts out more reviews, and it's like,
yeah,
why?
I don't know. I don't understand, why they're doing that, but the reviews... on Yelp and Google are extremely important, especially for the future of this business, I believe, which I think we're going a lot through the, voice search technology, which we're seeing a lot, so everyone has Siri, Alexa, Google Home, those type of things. And, people used to be like, hey, what's the weather in Scottsdale? And they're like, it's 150 degrees, but now they're like, hey, where the open house is located in this weekend, or who's the best loan officer in this area. Yeah. And so if you're playing on those review pages, Google, one of them, Google Home's obviously pulling those type of questions off of the Google page. Alexa and Siri are pulling off platforms like Yelp. So it's super important to have your business out there regardless of what kind of business that you're in, that you're collecting reviews. And if you're like me, you kind of get your live or die by reviews, right? I don't really do anything anymore because I'm so busy and I don't have time for a bad experience. I don't want to have a bad meal. Yeah. I don't want to go to a bad doctor. I don't want to go to a bad dentist.
And it's it's available in the palm of your hand.
Absolutely.
Let me just look this guy up right now and see if I want to deal with him.
Exactly.
I feel like almost everyone does that. I do it all the time.
You should, and I wish more people would do it in the mortgage business or the real estate business, because I educate my customers the same thing. So say, hey, say you're, shopping for a mortgage and you're calling 2 or 3 loan officers. And what you should do is say, hey, okay, I'm looking for a mortgage. I want to talk to 2 loan officers. Tell me a little about how you work, and then send me over your list of your reviews. And if they say, I don't have any reviews, and be like, okay, I understand, maybe you're brand new in the business, right? And well, that's your first, red flag. Do you want to work with someone brand new in the business? But if they're like, no, I've been in the business for 20 years. So you're like, wait a second, you've been in the business for 20 years. You can't tell me that you have one single customer out there that can validate the experience with you in a review.
Or knows how to work Google.
Yeah, I mean, that's a huge red flag right there. So I wish more people would absolutely look at reviews, and it's more of not just looking at the review of the company. Many companies are only as good as their loan officers, right? Mm-hmm. So the individual loan officer reviews is what I'd be focusing on.
Yeah, I mean, and it's a specialized industry, so you want to see who you're going to deal with. You have a lot of 5-star reviews. So how do you, aside from earning them, do you ask your customers to write you a review, or do most of them say, hey, where can I review you?
Most of them are just reviewing us, we should do a better job at asking people, but we just haven't really ever done that, and they've just been nice enough to kind of share their, experience with us. We do have a cool platform called Social Survey that every time we close a loan, we'll reach out and ask for a review, which if they do review us on Social Survey, which they do a lot, then it'll automatically share out on like my LinkedIn, my Facebook business page, and my Twitter feed. But they're not going to go out on Yelp or Google or any of those platforms. They're going out on their own and reviewing us sometimes on multiple platforms.
Well, that's good. It's interesting if you do a good job for somebody in the mortgage business, they're willing to take the time to review you.
For sure.
It's not just a dinner at a restaurant. Like, this is an experience.
No, 100%, and so, that's the biggest compliment you can get besides on top of a referral, is, hey, like, these guys took care of me, these guys got this loan done in 8 days when somebody else told me I couldn't get a loan, so that kind of stuff really means a lot for us.
That's fast.
I know. We're closing loans really quickly right now if we have to, so we just had one the other day. It was with another local lender, and they were changing some stuff on them to the fact where they felt uncomfortable. So the realtor we had a good relationships with, like, hey, if you're feeling uncomfortable about this loan at all, you should talk to Ryan and his team. We spoke to them. They're getting quoted way too high on mortgage insurance, and they're telling them they need to put 5% down, and they only need to put 3% down, which they wanted to have some extra money to do some repairs on the property, and that was very important to them. And 5% was putting them in a spot where they're not going to have much to do the repairs and fix up the house the way that they wanted to. So we had to order a new appraisal because it was a conventional loan and we couldn't transfer it. So ordered a new appraisal, had to rush through, sign, and fund it in 8 days. So
interesting
stuff like that's that. That's fast.
Yeah.
That's fast.
That's lightning fast.
I know.
Well, you got to be proud of that, though, if you can get that done.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it feels good to have the operations team and be at a company that supports and stands behind the promises that you're making out there to everyone. Because at the end of the day, all you have is your word, and if you don't live up to it, then what good are you, right?
Yeah. So American Financial Network is really supporting clean loans, but speed as well, which is great for customers, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, American Financial Network is a great platform, and they don't micromanage, and they kind of let us do our thing. So we've spent a lot of time and energy and effort in finding and combining the best operations staff that we think is out there. So we have our own underwriters, doc jars, funders, processors, processing assistants, so we can control the entire process without really having to rely on American Financial Network with anything except for, funding the money and, having the investors and the programs and things for us. So they really set us up to, be able to do our own thing. And honestly, I don't know a better place to go.
Right. So it sounds like, you have a lot of freedom in your job, and it kind of gives you the leeway to excel, really, past anything. You're not limited.
For sure. I mean, there's a lot of stress behind the scenes that we shield from our realtor partners and our customers, and there's some sleepless nights and how we're going to make this work.
Right.
But we're usually good at delivering on time and quick, so.
That's good. I mean, especially for the realtor.
Oh, yeah.
Closing in 8 days is great for the realtor.
Oh, yeah. No,
they look
love
like
it.
a superstar,
Like, you turned it over to these guys and they got it done in 8 days.
Yeah.
That's our, main goal too is, take care of our client, make sure that we can do everything we can to make sure they're satisfied and accomplish their goals, and then make our referral partner look like a rock star, right?
Yeah.
So they're also sticking their neck out, and they're out hustling and hitting the bushes just like, me. So for them to say, hey, you need to use Ryan and his team is, extension of them, and we got to make them look good.
That's an honor.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So how many realtor partners do you think you have that are like really solid?
I probably have, 25, 30, realtor partner relationships, but it's similar to, the way everything works. The top 10, 20% of them are the ones that are doing all the business,
Right.
So, I mean, I'm always looking to add new ones, but I'm not the guy that's out there trying to work with every realtor in town. I want to work with realtors that I can refer out myself and I think are professional and do a good job and take care of their clients, and they're respectful of our relationship, you know? So
Yeah, totally.
there's a lot of realtors out there that are totally one-sided as far as the way the business relationship goes, and that's just not what I want to be
Yeah,
part
that
of.
seems to be a common answer from most of the people on the mortgage side of the business. They're like, you're always going to run into those guys that think that you work for them, and it's just not that way. I mean, if you want the service, if you want it closed in 8 days, and you want your buyers happy, you got to. It's a two-way street.
Yep. I mean, a big mistake, most loan officers I think make is they're out there, talking to realtors and they're calling them and trying to get them to go to coffee and all that stuff. But a busy agent doesn't have time to take your coffee meeting from a
No.
stranger. They already have their relationships, right?
Right.
And, the leading pitch, like, hey, I have good rates and I can close quick. They're like,
Everyone's
great. Yeah, great. What
Right.
else can you do? So usually the next stumble is, hey, can you help me co-market on stuff? So can you take care of, some of my Zillow spend, or can you
Right.
pay for some of my other platforms? And so that's the next step. You're just their checkbook, right?
It's always the Zillow spend.
Yeah, Zillow spend.
Oh, you
So-
cover half the Zillow spend.
Yeah,
and
you can
it's
only
like-
you can only do that
It's
so
like
much.
what? So you can make 12,000 a deal, and I make 2.
Yeah, exactly.
Come on.
I mean, I'll do that all day long if it makes sense, but we're gonna have a serious conversation about how they're working those Zillow leads, what are their conversion like, what kind of systems do they have that they're putting them in,
Right.
how fast are they contacting them, all of those different types of things. So, if someone tells you that Zillow doesn't work, they're probably not working it correctly.
Right.
But
Yeah. Oh, it totally works. How many? Have you ever had any realtors that have just burned you?
Yeah, I mean, you learn lessons every single time that you work with people. Sometimes you're not a good fit. Sometimes they want more, financial contribution. There's different CRMs out there that, like Boomtown or Commissions Inc. or Conversion, that a lender can get plugged into their portal and help co-market with them and ramp up their database, for years. And you have a lot of combined leads together, and if something goes south, then they could literally unplug you and plug
Yeah.
another loan officer in,
Right.
and all of that time and work and energy on that database with them goes to that other loan
Sounds like
officer.
you put a lot of effort in one time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a few times,
Yeah.
and I've been burned a few times, and a lot of those new platforms when you're, working purchase leads, are going to take, 3, 6, 9, 12 months before they convert to
Right.
anything. So many times, depending on your contribution, you could be thousands of dollars in before you're even seeing any return. So you just really need to have those conversations up front with the agents on, what they're trying to do, and make sure you're on the same page before you start spending all kinds of money.
Mm-hmm. So for the young guys in the mortgage business that, you've probably learned quite a few things since you started. As far as a database management goes in customer CRMs, what have you learned that people should be doing if they're trying to, generate business for themselves?
Well, I mean, the best database is the one that you use, first of all, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you'd be surprised on, how many loan officers don't have any kind of database or CRM, or even if it's an Excel, chart of, their friends and family and any past, closings or things like that you have. So it's important for new and old ones. There's a lot of people that have been in the business for 20 years. I'm like, oh man, you got to have a monster database, right? No, I don't have anybody. You're like,
So
you
much
have
business going.
nobody. Like every time they left somewhere, they weren't keeping track of the people that they closed.
Right.
And many times it may be they're working in a situation where it's the company's lead, so they're not allowed to do that. But if you're a self-generated loan officer, I mean, I would be starting with, everyone that get it on your phone. How many contacts do you have on your phone, right? So, yeah, we're in an interesting business where pretty much almost everybody out there is your potential client, right? So that's the first place I would start with as a new loan officer. So as you're looking through the contacts in your phone, call them. Say, okay, hey, Brian, what are you doing? Okay, I'm in the mortgage business now. This is kind of what I'm doing. I'm helping people purchase and refinance. I was just curious of your current situation. Are you currently owning a home? If they're like, yeah, okay, great. Interest rates are at, an 18th month low right now. I'm just, want to see what rate that you're at. I'm just going to put you in my system. And if it ever makes sense for me to reach out and see if we can save you some money, we're going to do that. What rate are you at? And they're like, okay, I'm at 5%. Well, hey, Rates are a lot lower than that right now. Looks like we could probably save you a few $100s a month at minimum. Let's talk, right?
Mm-hmm.
So right there's a refinance lead. So if they're like, no, I'm a renter. Oh, really? When did you sign your lease? Oh, I signed it. I have like 3 months left. Okay. What are you planning on doing, in 3 months? Are you going to renew your lease, or what do you like to do?
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, I haven't really thought about it. I don't really know my options yet. Well, let me ask you a question. How much are you paying for rent? And they're like,
there you go.
I'm paying $1,800 a month. You're like, wow, $1,800 a month.
Right.
For that, you could probably buy, whatever, $250,000, $300,000 home, depending on property tax, HOA, and those type of things. Did you even know that? And they're like, oh, really? No. Okay. So now you have a potential buyer client. So
And that's just straight out of your CRM.
that's straight out of your phone.
Yeah, right.
That's straight out of your phone. So most people have CRMs they don't even know about. It's called Facebook, Instagram,
right.
LinkedIn.
It's all there.
All there, and your phone. So now you've got one person, and you've got a new purchase or refinance lead, right?
Uh-huh.
Or if they are in a great rate, are you carrying any high interest credit card debt you'd like to look at taking care of? Are you looking to do any home improvements? Have you thought about, purchasing any investment or second homes? Start asking those questions. If they're like, no. Okay, perfect. Sounds like you're really good. Do you know anyone who's talking about, purchasing or refinancing right now? Oh, actually, the neighbor, he's getting ready to. I'd be happy to give you his information. You're like,
okay.
ask for referrals, right?
Yeah.
So people try to overcomplicate it with a lot of these different systems,
Yeah.
But I have a couple different CRMs that I use. There's a company provided one called iConnect, which has some good functionality. It auto syncs with Encompass, so it makes it easy. And then I use it's a Salesforce platform called Jungo.
Okay.
That I store all of my stuff in. Jungo. And Jungo.
Interesting. I'd like to name these things.
Yeah, Jungo. But it's pretty complex, and there's a lot of functionality in it. I've actually hired someone to do some reporting and things like that in there, so it's a little bit easy for me to comb through. So I'd recommend.
Is that one of your team members, one of the three, or is this an outside guy?
This is an outside person that worked for Salesforce, so it's easy for them to do, and they just do some contract work for me in there.
Sounds like you're pretty good at delegating. You've kind of figured out your structure, huh?
I have, but I need to delegate more.
Yeah.
So I work with a coach. I've done that off and on throughout my career, and I think that's very important.
And who's that?
His name is Brett Tanner. He's a big real estate guy, but that's just a fraction of what he's doing now.
Yeah.
He has a lot of different entities, and he's really smart and doing a lot of really cool things. So I think for a while I've went through a couple different coaching platforms. I was in the Tom Ferry organization for a while, which is a real estate specific kind of coaching platform, which they did have some lenders that they're coaching. But my kind of whole angle was I want to know the best of real estate marketing to bring back to my realtor partners. So that was kind of working for a while. I got coached with them for about probably 3 years. I went through a few different coaches. I had one that I really liked, and he left and tried to get me to go with him. But I was like, oh, maybe the grass is greener. I'll see what else comes my way with these new coaches. And then I had 2 or 3 more that were just like not good at all. And it was to the point where they were literally like writing down what I was saying them to regurgitate to the next person that they had a coaching call with. So then I stopped that, and I figured that if I was going to get involved in coaching again, it needs to be somebody that's way ahead of me, So that's kind of when I got involved with Brett. But American Financial Network does have an internal coach, Anthony Casillas, and he's awesome too. So I always encourage everyone in our branch to, sign up
That's
for coaching.
cool. They have an internal coach for you. See, I feel like when I talk to guys in the business, if they're over 30, over 35 years old, a lot of them mention coach. Like they're like, hey, I have a coach, or I had one at the time. I never hear anyone who's newer to the business say I have a coach.
It's usually because it's really expensive, So that's why I encourage everyone in our branch and office to take advantage of it, because it usually costs a lot of money if you don't have some sort of company provided one.
Right.
So it's scary. It's a big leap. It's a lot of money, but you don't know what you don't know, right? I'd rather have someone point me in the right direction than me run in circles for a year and try to figure it out.
Well, clearly you're going to get an ROI from it, or you wouldn't do it.
Yeah, for sure.
Right. Yeah, it's just an expense. It's another one, huh?
And it's up to you to make of it what you will. So you got to be prepared to ask the questions that you want, but they'll sit there and try to poke holes in your business and tell you what you need to be doing, you know.
You sound like you run a pretty disciplined structure. Were you always that way, or did you kind of figure that out?
I think I just kind of slowly migrated into, you know, that structure, and then it's just like there's so many different things that you can be doing all the time, and you can get overwhelmed in the amount of stuff that you can do. But anytime I go to an event or talk to a coach or, you know, have a bunch of ideas, I just try to write them down and then just slowly do like one at a time, you know. And then after time, you have a lot of these different layers and systems and procedures in place, you know. So eventually it gets to the point where it's hard for someone to come in and just, you know, right out the gate be competing with what you're doing.
Yeah. So do you have any tactics that you do, let's say every day or every week? Is it like make 10 phone calls off my CRM or like something like that? Do you have any of those things, or do you kind of just work it towards where the volume is?
I mean, I know a lot of people that are regimented and say I'm making calls from this time to this time, which, I mean, I make calls as needed, and I'm more reactive than proactive, which is not good, you know. But that's just kind of how I've done it. You know, I know what I need to get done. I know who I need to contact with. I do prioritize, like, hey, I got to do all this stuff, and I'm going to do, like, the toughest stuff first. That's going to take the most mental energy, and then I'm going to work on the easy stuff later. A lot of people can get distracted and just, like, responding to emails that don't really matter whenever you've got some tough conversations that you need to have. So I like to do that, you know, in the morning when I'm freshest and, you know, just get it out of the way. And then, all right, I already accomplished, you know, a hard part of my day. Yeah. So that's why I get up at 5 in the morning and go to the gym. So I've already accomplished something difficult. And now everything else should be a little bit easier, right?
Yeah, that's refreshing to hear, because a lot of people will be like, oh, yeah, you know, from 8 to 10, I call this many people, then I check my email, then I do this, and I do that. But I'm like, really? Do you really do that? Because when your phone rings and you get distracted from whatever task you're on, I know you're going to take the call. So yeah,
if somebody's texting you to fill out a loan application, or, you know, you have a deal that's getting a little squirrely that you got to put out some fires on, you're going to obviously take care of that stuff before you're don't interrupt me for the next 2 hours, you know, might be too late.
Exactly. Yeah, you're working. Yeah. And you got to get or give response time for your customers.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, if an agent texts you or calls you, and, you know, literally, like, depending on your relationship, if you don't respond in a very fast amount of time, they're likely to call somebody else.
Yeah, interesting. So most people, they want to know what's good about being a loan officer, or what should they be interested in looking for in a loan officer if they're doing a loan. But what do you look for in a buyer?
Someone that's going to cooperate with you. I mean, we'll make it as smooth as that we can, but we just need a little bit of information. If you're kicking and screaming and fighting on giving us information and making us on, you know, send us on a wild goose chase and fact-finding mission, it's usually because they're trying to hide something, and we'll figure it out sooner or later. But I don't want to put my realtor or relationship or customer in a situation where something's going to explode in the middle of a transaction because we didn't ask the right questions, or we didn't ask the difficult ones on documentation that we need to get, you know. So if they're unwilling to cooperate, then there's not a whole lot we can do, you know. But I mean, unfortunately, you're not going to gel well with everyone, and you have, you know, clients that go that direction.
Yeah, so you're going to meet a lot of people, and you're going to get some borrowers that are just not a good fit for you. But at what point do you say, hey, you should probably do this loan with someone else?
I mean, it's the guys that are, you know, calling 15 different loan officers and all throwing their hats in the ring and trying to get, you know, a $2 less, you know, monthly mortgage payment. It's just like, it's not worth your time to stress and, you know, fight and kick and scream on all of those guys, because everyone will end up undercutting themselves someone will lie to them and not tell them the truth, and it'll be the same as everybody else or worse.
That happens all the time, actually.
Yeah, so...
I can do this for you. Trust me. And then it gets to the time when you're actually writing the details, and it's like, no, you can't.
Yeah, this is actually cost you more than what I was telling you in the beginning, you know. So that's why I think it's important to check reviews, those type of things. People aren't going to stick their neck out and write a bunch of reviews if, you know, people are doing shady stuff like that.
Yeah, for sure. So have you ever ended up in, like, a situation where you had to tell a loan officer, you know, you're lying?
Tell a loan officer you're lying?
Yeah, like, let's say a loan officer tells a borrower, oh, I can do this better than Ryan can, and this is what I can get you, and you know they can't. Or do you just tell the borrower?
I usually tell the borrower we rarely get into conversations with other loan officers. Sometimes, just being cordial in the business, if they can't get something done, we'll call them and say, hey, what are you doing? Like, what are you having issues on? I know we want to work in the best interest of this customer, and obviously want to get them in their house. If you're getting sideways on it and can't get it done, we'll take a crack at it for you or get it done. But I mean, we do a lot of bank fallout actually. So I mean, our underwriters are pretty much on call with us all weekend, so we can get any kind of file in front of our underwriter and then give us an answer on it if we can do it or not.
Right.
Nights, weekends, holidays, which most people don't have access to that. So we're able to step in a lot of times and save the day, which is fun.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, so mortgages kind of sounds like a boring topic. Right? It does.
It does.
It can be exciting for the loan officer. It's your career, it's your job. But you do something else. You own your own business, and it's called Gallon Gear, right?
Yep. So I try to, my ideal situation is to have things in my life that I'm passionate about. I'm very passionate about real estate and mortgage, and I try to see what else I'm passionate about that you could get involved in and, bring into your life. So I'm very into fitness and, nutrition and, working out and that kind of stuff. And we started this company. My buddy actually thought of the idea. He was, a trainer in the gym a lot, and he had he was always at the gym with his gallon of water, trying to drink a gallon a day, and he had his, wallet and his phone and his keys in his hand. So every time he went on the ground, it'd throw this pile of stuff, and then he has jug of water there. So he's like, then he got a little crafty with the little climber clips and was clipping his keys on the handle. And he's like, there's got to be a better way than this. Plus my water's getting a little warm. So he kind of started tinkering around with it, and we made a pretty cool patented product called Gallon Gear, which you can check it out on Gallon Gear.
Why don't you hold it up right
GallonGear.com.
He's got all this stuff. Look at that.
On Instagram.
Car keys.
So hold your phone, hold your keys.
It's funny. It's because you're putting your stuff in there, and I'm like, why is he putting his stuff in there? And then it's when you say, because when you're at the gym, you put the thing on the ground, but you also put your phone and your AirPods and your keys and everything there, and you're like, oh, okay, now I got to pick it all up every time I walk around. That's actually pretty genius.
Yeah, moving a pile of stuff along with your water.
And it keeps it cold.
Keeps it cold. So we have gallon, half gallon sizes, a bunch of different accessories, colors and stuff. So it's been a fun project.
So you just buy your gallon at Safeway or
you can buy it at Safeway. Go over the normal, disposable jugs, or people are trying to cut down on plastic waste, so they're looking at BPA-free options. So now we've got BPA-free jugs. The ones prior that were out there were not very strong, so we were wholesaling some, and people were dropping them and breaking them all the time. So how can we make this better? So now we make our own durable BPA-free gallon and half gallon jugs that you can drop with a full gallon or half gallon of water, and they're not going to break. So it's pretty cool.
Pretty cool. Andy Frisella? Have you ever heard that guy?
I don't think so.
He's a business coach. He's pretty intense too. He swears a lot and does a lot of things. his podcast is the MFing CEO project or something.
Okay.
But I think it's him. Yeah. My buddy Clint. He's all into fitness and all that stuff, and he's doing this challenge. This guy Andy put out. It's called 75 Hard, and basically for 75 days straight, you work out twice a day, one outside, one inside. You drink a gallon of water a day. You read 10 pages a day, and you can't drink alcohol or something like that.
Wow.
Maybe there's more to it. I don't know. Maybe. But
probably not too many loan officers in that one.
No, probably not. Definitely on the last part of that now. But I was thinking, dude, he drinks a gallon of water a day. Those guys should have that.
Yeah, absolutely. Make the introduction.
Yeah, I will.
We appreciate it. But we'll have to get you on. You have to let me know what you think.
Yeah, I'll do it. I want to drink more water. See, that's the one thing. The hard part, the reason why I like the product is because people buy jugs of water, like the Arrowhead jugs of water or whatever, and then you go buy it and you drink it, and then you're like, should I fill this up? How many times can I fill this up before it gets disgusting? I can wash it. But if you have something like the Gallon Gear, the actual sleeve, then it's kind of makes you feel like it's a longer lasting bottle, even though it's not. I feel like I keep it for a long time.
It looks a
and
little
just
more
keep washing it.
professional too than dragging your gallon jug into the office, you know.
Yeah,
so.
and it says Arrowhead. It's
Yeah.
like, what are you, some meathead or something? Come on.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'll have to get one. That's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, let
And
me
then
know.
it'll encourage you to drink more water. And
Yeah.
then it's always around.
Yeah, yeah, and a lot of people ask about it, so it's a good conversation starter, right?
Yeah.
Put your mortgage business cards in there, and you got people coming up to you talking about it.
Perfect. What's that? Yeah, that's actually pretty genius. I like it. Something simple as that can be really impactful. You know, you hear about guys, I don't know their names all the time, but they created this little company or the Pet Rock or like something, you know, this isn't comparable to that, but
Yeah.
like on a rudimentary level, it's something that's not even like that's useful, but there are things that are even less useful
Yep.
that people make tons of money from because it was a good idea.
Yeah, just trying to solve a problem. I think if you're solving somebody's problem that you have it, others can relate for sure.
All right, so where do you find it? Gallongear.com?
Yep, gallongear.com. We sell them on Amazon. We're in a lot of gyms and nutrition shops and those type of places. So,
What gyms?
we're all over the place.
Yeah.
We're not any of the big national ones. We're in a lot of the smaller mom and pop ones all over the
Kind of
country.
just walk in there and say, hey, can you want to carry this product?
Most of them are contacting us, so we
Oh.
do a lot of the big fitness shows like the Arnold and Mr. Olympia and the Fit Expos and those kind of things. And a lot of the store owners come there to like see new product they want to put in their stores. So we get a lot of requests from those type of things.
Oh, cool.
So, but
do you customize?
Yeah, we can customize. Like we make them for the Air Force and a bunch of other places. So, Discount Nutrition actually here locally carries our stuff. They have a couple locations. One on, I think it's like 22nd and Camelback, and another one in Scottsdale off Greenway. You can get them there locally. So, some people pop in and buy them.
Oh, so
there.
you can just pop into a store and buy them. It's not even one of those Instagram ad.
No, you can get it. You can get it all over the place. You know.
Do you run social media campaigns on it?
Yeah, actually, we've been, hammering on social media very hard since the beginning. When we first didn't have, a whole lot of money to invest into it, it was just all like ground and pound and commenting on everybody's stuff manually. But now we're spending, thousands of dollars a month on it, which is, pushing 60,000 clicks a month on our website. And,
Wow.
Our Instagram's got, I think, 80 or 90,000 people on it now. And we have, thousands of people on Facebook and, lots of people watching us on YouTube and reviews on Amazon and those type of platforms. So it's just, you got to start somewhere. But best bang for your buck, hands down, is Facebook and Instagram ads.
Yeah, what's your thought on that? So there's an interesting kind of dilemma I play in my head, which is like, people will tell you there's a cost-effective approach to social media advertising. Like, okay, you want to see this many clicks per how many dollars you spend, and et cetera, et cetera. But the reality is the more of those things that are out there, the more referrals you're going to get, the more conversations that are going on, and the larger the business can grow. What do you think about just like spending a ridiculous amount of money on the advertising?
I mean, I think if it makes sense, do it, So that's our constant struggle, is trying to figure out our exact, cost per order, Once you get that dialed in, if it costs you, $1 to make 3, then just spend as much as you possibly can, right? But stuff constantly changing. Ads that were working 2 weeks ago aren't working as well. So it's just, you have to be on it and stay and put fresh content and change things all the times,
Yeah.
Video ads work better on, Facebook. Some images stuff works better on Instagram. It just really depends, So just kind of A/B testing all the time. It's really turned into, a full-time job. But I've learned a lot off running a lot of the ads on those platforms. And, I mean, hands down, it's the way that we've got to where we're at now. People all the time are like, hey, we see you on Instagram. Hey, I saw you on Facebook, And then we can just see direct correlation to the traffic and the sales on our website from it.
All right. Who's the biggest Gallon Gear advocate for you?
We've been fortunate, and we have a lot of really big Instagram or social media famous people that use our product. The biggest one would probably be Cassandra Martin. She's doing all kinds of cool stuff. She's got her own supplement line. She has her own app called Lift with Cass now. I mean, she's got 2.5 million followers, I think, on Instagram and her other platforms. She's getting 3 million views a day on her on her snaps. So she's always been a good supporter of ours. And then we have a lot of people in the 2, 3, 4, 500, 1 million follower range that most companies have to pay these people a lot of money just for one post, but they just like our product and it's different, so they just use it and they're happy to promote it out there. So we've been really fortunate. And then we do have ambassador programs where people can get promo codes that they post on their social media, and they can earn commissions, and their clients can get discounts. So we probably have, I don't know, 350, 400 ambassadors out there now that,
cool.
kind of promote our stuff, which is pretty cool. And since the beginning, something that we've always done, we've wanted to use, social proof and help share the people that promote us. So every Tuesday we have Testimonial Tuesday, where we repost people that tag us in their stuff, and then Friday we have Performance Friday, where we repost people that tag us in our stuff. In the beginning, when we had 500 followers or 1,000 followers, it wasn't that big a deal. But now, like, you're getting shout outs on a page with 80,000 followers. It's kind of a nice little bonus.
How many followers does the Gallon Gear?
I think it's got like around 80,000 now.
Wow, that's pretty significant.
And it's all just grinded out. We post every 3 hours, like basically from 7 a.m. till go to bed.
Do you have any like hashtag discounts, like if somebody like takes a picture and hashtags Gallon Gear or something?
We have promo codes and things running out there. We do have a funny hashtag that we kind of dominated called Caught Naked. So if someone saw a naked jug without a Gallon Gear cover on it, it'd be like, I caught naked. So now people are tagging pictures or making fun of them in their stories, and then tagging Caught Naked at Gallon Gear,
It's pretty creative.
So we've kind of turned it into something kind of fun. So the ultimate goal, you get made fun of if you didn't have a Gallon Gear and you're carrying a naked jug. So that's kind of what we're pushing for.
That's interesting.
Don't get caught naked.
Yeah, right. So what other colors you got, and what's the design?
We've got tons. We've got probably 15, 20 different options on the full gallon. We probably got 8 to 10 on the half gallon sleeves. So we're coming out with more, but some of those popular ones are black on black ones. Like we have, we do a lot of first responder supporting. So we have thin blue line. A lot of police officers and military buy that one. With the, we have thin red line for the firefighters, thin green line. We have American flag ones. We have 3 or 4 different camo options. We have pink and purple. What's really popular now is some of the print colors. We have some florals and some other colors like that. We actually just did a create your own Gallon Gear contest for all of our followers, and they all were submitting what they wanted to see, and the actual winner one was a one that's got donuts on it. So that's
fun.
That's the next one that's coming out. So as opposed to guessing, it's like, hey, what do you guys want?
Yeah, that's cool. So like, now we talked about the gym group, but like, is there another big group of people that seem to find a use for this?
Gym, I think, like, average Joe guy that's out in the heat, construction worker, blue collar guys, a lot of the, like, extreme weight loss people understand that, that's the key ingredient to trying to drop some weight is, drink as much water as you possibly can. Students, athletes, like, it's kind of getting all over. The military are good supporters of ours, so it's kind of hunters, some. Anybody in a hot climate. Our biggest selling states are the hotter climate states. So
drink a lot of water.
Yeah, so they kind of have to. So it's kind of got just from bodybuilding to all over the place. And we try to show that in our Testimonial Tuesday and Friday posts. That's not just bodybuilders or bikini girls or whatever.
Yeah, you gonna make a 2-liter one for the people who want to drink a Coke?
we do have a smaller option, one that we're working on right now that would possibly go over shaker cups or some of those metal bottles that everyone carries.
Yeah.
So
like the Hydro Flasks.
Yeah, kind of stuff.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Hey,
so
there you go.
We're coming out with those type of things.
Man, you're really hitting it now.
We've got straps. We have bottle brushes.
Oh, you're kind of bottlenecked by the Gallon Gear name, though. It's gallon. Now it's 52-ounce gear.
Yeah, half gallon gear. But we came a long way. It's always trying to figure out how we're going to ratchet it to the next level. So it's always something new to learn every day, right?
The cool thing is that you can balance this with your other job.
It's tough. There's a lot of stuff coming at you. Luckily, I have 2 other partners, or it would not be possible. But we all kind of figured out our roles, and we kind of stick to them and all work together, So
and they're good friends of yours, or
good friends of mine. And then we've got other people working for us now.
Who are they? What are their names?
CJ Steiger and Giancarlo Di Gregorio.
Oh, interesting.
I know, it's a tough one to say.
Giancarlo Di Gregorio. It's a good name.
Yeah. So they're cool guys, and we all get along really well. That's kind of important when you're partners.
Where did you guys meet?
Actually, me and CJ met. We were both dating sisters. So I was dating the older sister, and he was dating the younger sister, and we became, friends. And then CJ and Carlo went to school together, and they kind of became friends, and then now we're all friends.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
Interesting. So then you guys just created a company and
Had an idea, went through the whole process of getting it patented, and
how do you get it manufactured?
that took a long time too, trying to figure out a manufacturer that would actually do it. We went through a few different manufacturers. We were getting middleman a few times where they were, messing with the price and stuff on us. In the beginning, it was really expensive for us to produce, and then we've slowly, with volume, been able to get it down and secured manufacturers that we trust. A lot of them are overseas. We would like to get it made here locally, but it just
Cost you a
yeah,
fortune.
it costs a forttion, unfortunately. So
$50 gallon. Gear.
seriously,
Yeah.
like that's what the prices that we were getting. So
It's not even close to reasonable.
no. So,
Yeah.
but it's scary doing business over there. In a lot of it's wire transfers, large amounts of money.
Really?
So you just got to pray that they do what they say. We've got burned a few times on
Really?
thousands of dollars, and there's nothing you can do about it.
What, you can't go over there and do anything about it.
Once it hits
Who are you
their
going to call?
once it hits their bank, you're gone. It's
Yeah.
gone. So, just a lot of lessons learned along the way.
That's interesting.
A lot-
Finding a reliable manufacturer across seas.
A lot of late night Skype communication
Yeah,
through one of our partners. Carlo handles most of that, but he's talking to them almost every night on Skype.
really. Man, what a wild business. Like, it's a simple product, but it's just, there's a lot going on. I think that's what people miss most of the time is, you could manufacture a pencil. It's going to be complicated.
Yeah, it sounds like a good idea to start a business, but there's a lot that goes into it. You better be prepared to work your butt off for not a lot of money for a long time.
Yeah.
I mean, just like manufacturing, shipping, dealing with the new tariffs with Trump, like getting stuff out of ports, like broker costs, like all this stuff just adds up all the time, So it's just
The
like
tariffs, man. Those were,
yeah. I mean,
tough.
customs tariffs, that has hurt us a little bit, So
yeah.
it's just
You
roll.
can even get products held for a long time. You might not be able to fill inventory.
Yeah, no, happens all the time. It's very difficult to manage inventory, especially when you're dealing with large orders, especially of the jugs, which you can't put on planes. So they're floating on a boat for
Right.
3 weeks, and then they're stuck at the port for another 3 weeks until they feel like getting to it and releasing it. It's just like no rhyme or reason.
Yeah.
So you could be out of your bestseller on Black Friday, and you're just like,
Wow.
great, right?
A lot of lessons learned. huh?
Yeah, it hurts.
It hurts.
It's expensive.
But you guys have broken ground. You're doing well now, huh?
Yeah, just plugging away. Like I said, trying to figure out how to ratchet it up to the next level and
Right.
do bigger things.
Isn't that interesting? We're always like looking for oh, now we're here, now we're here, now we're here.
I know. I think you need to take a moment to try to enjoy it for a second, but it's never really happened.
Yeah, it's kind of just human nature. We're
Mhm.
like, all right, well, what's next?
What's next? Yep, on to the
Yeah.
next.
So switching back then for the mortgage business, what's next?
Keep building my team. I'm actually hiring some more loan officers on my team right now, and it's kind of a hybrid position that they'll be doing some things similar to me, So as opposed to them just kind of hanging out and handling the business I have coming in, I'm gonna do some training on showing them how to get out and the activity they need to be doing to get some of their own business also. So been working on that with my coach. So I'm looking to hire probably 4 more loan officers on my team, and then just continue to grow our branch, with the right people. So we're not trying to hire everyone by any means, and we have a really cool culture where everyone gets along and respects each other, and we have beers on tap in our office, and
That's
like
fun.
TVs all over where everyone's watching golf or whatever games
Yeah.
are on. And it's just a fun environment that you don't have to twist your arm to come into. People
Right.
enjoy it, and everyone pretty much manages themselves and does their thing. So
That's cool. Where is your office?
it's on 40th Street in Camelback.
Oh, so it's right there.
Yeah, in Phoenix, 3900 East Camelback Road.
40th, and yeah. I know
So
exactly what
perfect
it is.
location.
Yep.
Scottsdale border, Arcadia, pretty central.
Is that a Gadzooks restaurant?
Yep, pretty
Yeah.
close, just a little bit west from there.
I always see it driving by. I'm like, Gadzooks.
Yeah,
it's an
enchilada
interesting
place,
name.
right?
Yeah. Well, that's cool. And so, like, with your team, is everyone pretty excited about like what are they doing all day? Are they working their asses off?
They're busy, yeah. I mean, the day flies by. There's just a lot of different leads coming at them from all over the place. So they're grabbing those leads, calling them, taking applications, pre-qualifying them, following up with leads that they haven't made contact with, getting pre-quals out, the one managing their pipeline they've been processing, so sending out LSUs and updating listing agents and buyers agents, and just trying to manage everything that's coming at them.
Cool. Well, from a customer perspective, like if you had to earn my business right now, like what would you tell? Why would you be better than the other guy? Why would I do a loan with you?
I mean, it really boils down to, like I said, our relationships. It's more than just a mortgage. You're a client for life for us. So regardless if we do business with you or not, we'll put your rate into our system, and we have software that monitors your rate against the market. And if it ever makes sense for us to do any kind of refinance for you, we do no lender fee refinances. We can help you at any point of, any contact we have, we're happy to share with you. And you'll definitely be taken care of. And if you're trying to buy a house, your offer is likely to be accepted. We'll close on time. There's always someone there available to talk to you, nights, weekends, whenever. So we're pretty much full service, which is hard to get at very many places.
Full service. And how do you guys compete on rate right now?
Super competitive. I mean, we don't lose very often to rate. We're a bank, plus we can broker. So we have access to all of the wholesale rates. We can pretty much take on anybody,
Isn't rate kind of just... I mean, everyone says rate, but there's a lot of other things that go into it. I mean, there's discount points. There's all this type of stuff, right?
Exactly. So, I mean, everyone's focused on rate, but what they really want to know is payment and closing cost, right?
Right.
So, a higher interest rate is not necessarily a bad thing. It's just more of a tax deduction for yourself. Yeah. But we work with everyone to try to obviously get them the best rate, the lowest monthly outgo, most monthly payments. So, say someone's like all hyped up on rate, and they're putting 20% down, and they're carrying, $20,000 in credit card debt. So they have a monthly outgo of whatever, $4,000. Their new mortgage payment at 20% down is, say, $1,500. To say, hey, why don't you take, some of that money you were going to put down and pay off all this credit card debt? Now your combined total monthly payment's only $2,000 instead of $4,000, or it was going to be $5,500, right? So now everything out the door with your new mortgage payment's only $2,000 instead of $5,500. Makes a lot more sense for you to do that than put that extra money down. So it's looking for opportunities like that when most people will be like, okay, here you go, here's your mortgage at 20% down, and they're still struggling to get rid of all that credit card debt when they don't need to.
Yeah. So basically, you've just figured out their problems right there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So they're saying rate, but hey, I just got you the house that you wanted, and your monthly outgo is $3,000 or $4,000 less than you were anticipating.
And we did it in 8 days.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're welcome.
Here's here you go. So please leave us a review and tell your friends and family.
Yeah. Well, it's got to make a lot of people happy.
Yeah.
Right. Is there anything you wanted to say, in particular about your business or your Gallon Gear or yourself?
I mean, I'm always happy to talk to loan officers that are getting started in the business. I mean, you can reach out to me directly. My mobile is 480-203-6263. Anybody that's looking to purchase or refinance, you can schedule consultations on my website, which is dreamhomefunder.com. Just click on there and fill out one of the tabs, and me or my team will be in touch with you really quickly. And if anyone just has questions on real estate or anything, just wants some advice or wants to referral for a good realtor or insurance company or whatever the case may be, they can call me, text me, email me at ryan@dreamhomefunder.com. And then obviously if you want to check out Gallon Gear, check it out at gallongear.com. You can follow us
that one's easy.
Follow us on Instagram at Gallon Gear. We're on Amazon, wherever you want to buy our stuff. It's kind of out there. So
cool. All right. Ryan@dreamhomefunder.com.
Yes, sir.
Reach out, do a loan.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you having me. Thanks a lot.